I'm gonna show you what for the 14th Amendment says. Okay.
Okay.
So it says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens. So the first sentence makes a distinction between a person and a citizen. Do we agree? You're muted.
I didn't hear that last part. One more time.
All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens. So that means
Okay,
there's a
so what does
distinction.
naturalized mean by your definition?
So what, whether they're naturalized, that means
What
whether
is,
they be, you can, a person can become a citizen.
yes, but that person was a green card
No,
holder,
what
not
the
on, they
question, the
weren't.
question that I'm asking you is under the 14th Amendment, is a person equal to a citizen?
If they were born here or are legally here, yes. But if they came here
Okay.
under
So all
claim of
citizens are
asylum,
persons, but not all persons are citizens, correct?
I'm sorry, repeat that?
All citizens are persons. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, every living person is a
Right.
person.
No, every living citizen is a person. Do we agree?
That's just kind of a blanket statement. Anybody can be a citizen of anywhere.
Oh my God. All citizens are persons. Is that a true statement or a false statement?
That's like saying all trees are like plants. I mean, you're just
Yeah.
Ye-
So
Yeah.
answer the question. All citizens are persons.
yes, but that doesn't
Okay.
mean that
All
Wait,
are
wait,
per,
wait,
are
you're not a
all
stop,
citizen of this
persons.
country.
Okay.
You're citizens
I
of other
understand.
countries.
Okay. So all citizens are persons. All persons citizens?
Are all persons citizens? Yes. Well, no, not necessarily. If you
No.
don't live, if you
Yeah.
live off the
Plants,
land,
trees.
if you
Are
live
all
Yes.
off,
plants
if you
trees?
live off the land and you don't like take anything from your government, I wouldn't necessarily say
Right.
you
I
are.
agree. Okay. So we agree that all citizens are persons, but not all persons are citizens. That is what the 14th Amendment says. It says if you're a person and you are born in the United States, you're a citizen. If you're a
Mhm.
person and you're naturalized in the United States, then you're a citizen. Okay. And then it says, when we talk about due process, it says, no state shall deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. What are they talking about? Persons or citizens?
See, and that's where you have to get red tape out because how do you? Okay,
Wait,
so
wait.
whose
They
Okay.
already
whose
All right.
defined
discretion?
what
Whose
I
discretion is
accuse.
that?
Okay.
Whose
Yeah, that's the
discretion is that
government.
at then? Is that at the
Yeah, it's
discretion
the
of the
government.
court or?
It's the discretion of the government. The government is who make is whatever the government decides is what makes you a citizen. So if I
Which
don't
part
know,
of the government specifically? The judicial, the
so if
executive?
okay, well, if I say if I'm a government official, let's say in the executive branch, and I say you are not a citizen, and therefore you do not get due process of law, and I want to deport you, can I do that?
The executive does not have that right now.
Okay. Oh, okay, cool. So the executive does not have the right to make the determination and has to go through due process, correct?
Yes, but there are
If you, even if you're not a
exceptions to
citizen.
that. For example, if you're deporting an illegal gang member,
How do you
which
know
I'm
that?
not saying
How
that
do
this
you
gentleman,
know
I'm not
whether
saying
they're a
that this
gang
gentleman
member
was.
if
Wait,
you
how do
can't
you
go
know?
through due
Yeah.
process? The whole
You're
point of due
just
process
you're
is so that the government doesn't make arbitrary decisions. You have to be able to defend yourself as a person. If you are a citizen and the government makes a claim you are not a citizen, therefore I'm just going to deport you because you're a terrorist gang member, then you need to be able to defend yourself that you are not a gang member, you are not a terrorist, you are not a rapist, you're not a murderer, and all that stuff. You have to be able to do that because if you're a citizen, you can get wrongly deported by the government for arbitrary
See,
reasons
no,
just because
that
they don't
an
like you.
American-born citizen cannot just be deported. That's
They
not true.
okay, yes,
with a
because we have due process.
Yes, so if you come here seeking asylum and then we find out that you're a part of a gang, we have no right to give you a court.
How do
Okay,
you find out they're a part of a gang?
oh my God, can they defend themselves if they're not? Let's say they're not part of a gang, right? So let's just say for the sake of
Well,
argument, wait, hold on,
okay,
just let's just say for the
go ahead.
government is claiming that Bob is an immigrant who is part of a gang. That is their claim, right? Now let's just say it's a fact of the matter that Bob is not part of a gang, right? So how does Bob keep himself from getting deported?
Well, I would say the issue is that Bob came in seeking asylum in the first place when his asylum wasn't really necessary.
Why you're
Can you answer my
now you're
question?
just pre
What do you
Do you
mean?
understand? Do you understand the question I asked you?
Marshmallow brain.
Let me hear it one more time.
Okay, so the government claims that let's say a legal immigrant, Bob, maybe he's naturalized, maybe he's on a work visa, whatever, green card, whatever. Okay, so Bob is not a gang member. Let's just say it's a fact that Bob is not a gang member, but for some reason the government thinks that Bob is a gang member. How can Bob defend himself from the government claiming that he's a gang member to keep him from being deported?
Okay, and my point I'm making is Bob doesn't have that right because he wasn't a born citizen.
So so under
That's my
your
point.
okay, so under your view, it's justified for the government to just make up shit about a particular immigrant and just deport them, and that would be fine.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they had their reasons, and even if they didn't
It's
tell us or if it was a bullshit reason, what are you gonna do?
okay. So, well, it's not about what you do. We're asking what should be done. So if Bob was
Okay.
black, so if Bob was black, and the government just says, "I don't like the fact that Bob is black," you think that they should be able to deport for that reason?
No, not at all. And let me just state, I
Wait,
do
that's the
not agree
14th
with.
Amendment. You can't segregate on the basis of race. You can't discriminate on the basis of race by virtue of the 14th Amendment. So my question is, if Trump says, "Oh, this immigrant is black or whatever," and I don't want this immigrant being black in my country, and I want to
It
deport
has
him for
nothing to
being
do with
black,
him being black.
can
It
you
has the fact that he's an immigrant.
okay? So let's say he wants to deport this particular immigrant because there's a lot of other immigrants just like him. He doesn't want to deport the white immigrants. He wants to deport the black ones. Do you think that there should be a law that protects black immigrants from being deported by virtue of the fact that they're black? Do you think that there
I
should be?
think there should be a law that opposes anybody, not a specific race. I
Yeah,
wouldn't choose
that
one
persons,
race.
anybody. Because a black person is a
Okay.
person, a white person is a
Yes, but what
person,
I'm
right?
saying,
And so they should all get due process of law, whether you are a citizen or a non-citizen. That is how
so
that's one way of tackling an authoritarian government. So that way
okay,
the
so
like
all 20 million
kings
people
in
that the Biden
England didn't have due
administration let
process.
in.
They could just say, "Oh, you rebelled against my kingdom. I'm gonna put you in prison or I'm gonna behead you." They didn't need due process.
So all 20 million of the illegals that were let in for
See,
so-called
now you're
asylum.
changing the argument. I give you a specific person. I said Kilmar Garcia
No,
was not given due
no, but
process and he was deported wrongfully. The Trump administration agreed in the court case that
yes.
they
No,
wrongfully
yeah.
deported him.
Yeah, no. And I understand that. So what is Trump doing? Working for himself?
He is
Yes.
violating the Constitution. He's suppressing free speech. He's tanking the economy. Need I go on?
What free speech has he repressed? In his first
Mahmoud
30 days in
Khalil.
office, he did more
Mahmoud
Bro.
Khalil.
interviews. Khalil, that's your only example?
No, well, he's done. That's one. That's the prime example. But he's doing that to a lot of different immigrants, as long as they're taking a stance against
Also,
Israel.
isn't he trying
That's
to
a
like suppress
violation of freedom
media?
of speech.
No, he's not trying to suppress media. He's trying
Wait,
to
hold on.
open
Let's
it up
stick to
to.
one at a time. You asked about free speech,
I
with
asked
regard
about the
to
media thing.
Mahmoud Khalil, right? So you agree that that's a violation of freedom of speech, right?
Mahmoud Khalil, is that the one you were talking about that was the father that was deported, or is that the
No,
college student?
that
That's
was
the
a
college
college
student?
student that was doing the
Okay.
and yeah,
Now,
he
I read
didn't do
about
any
him as well.
crimes. The government never.
He was literally in contact with Hamas. He was a
No,
part
he
of their
wasn't.
proxy group. Yes, he
No, he
was.
wasn't. No, he
We can
wasn't.
Where did
argue
you
this all
read that
day.
at?
Yeah, where's your source?
Ben
Why didn't
Shapiro,
the government?
Daily Wire.
Oh my God!
Did you
Why
say
didn't the
Ben
government?
Shapiro?
Why didn't the
Did
government?
you
No, you.
just say Ben
That's fucking
Shapiro?
crazy. Why didn't the government accuse him of that?
Accuse him of that?
Yeah, why are they flipping back and forth trying to justify why they deport? Why didn't they just say that? Oh, he's in contact with Hamas.
They did say that, but your liberal media
No, they didn't.
like to
No, they
focus on
didn't.
the fact that
In
they're
none of
deporting
in none of
somebody.
the court cases, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, not the press secretary, they have never claimed that he was in contact. Are you like? I want that source, please. This guy
He just
said
said
Ben
Ben
Shapiro. That's
Shapiro.
fucking crazy.
Do you
Ben
think
Shapiro's
Ben
like, I
Shapiro
die.
lies?
Yeah,
Yes.
I know
Ben
who Ben Shapiro
Shapiro?
is.
Are we
I need
dead
a
ass?
reliable source. This man lies
His
all the
whole
time. It
thing
doesn't
Hold
is
matter.
on,
facts.
hold on.
But no, he didn't do the government's not accusing him. I don't know where I'm gonna need that source that Ben Shapiro's apparently pulling, because that is not a claim that I don't know where you got that from.
Wait,
The government has not made that claim. Marco Rubio has not made that claim. And if you like, that's just one example. There's multiple different examples. There's the professor. She was all she did was write an article. All they're doing is speaking out against Israel in favor of Palestine. That's all they're doing, right? And if a U.S. citizen had made those claims, I think you would be saying that that would be a violation of freedom of speech to punish them for it.
No, I don't think I would. I think he genuinely was supporting a terrorist organization that.
Do you think the
You-
pro-Palestinian
you
protests
have-
right now?
You have no basis to believe this.
Do you
though.
think the pro-Palestinian
He-
protests happening right now are supportive of terrorist organizations?
Okay, let me specify. I believe that the people of Palestine are innocent. I believe Hamas is a terrorist organization.
Yeah. I'm asking you specifically, the people who are going around with the pro-Palestinian flags protesting, do you think that they're in favor of terrorist organizations?
If they are pro-Palestinian and pro-Hamas, yes.
Yeah.
If they're just pro-Palestinian people, then no.
So how do you determine whether they're pro-Hamas?
Because typically they'll have Hamas flags and stuff with them. You
What
can
the
see
fuck
it.
is a Hamas flag?
I don't know what the fuck.
Bruh.
I can't
All
describe
right.
it.
Anyway, I like.
Oh, so you can recognize it, but you can't tell me what the fuck it is. You know that this is the sign of like supporting Hamas, but you can't tell me what the fuck it is.
Okay, so
Because I've never seen a Hamas flag at
Yeah,
any of the
I've never fucking
protests
heard
or
of this.
anything. So like if you could tell us what it looked like, we could look at all the protests and stuff, so that we could know what it
Proceed,
is,
Captain.
identify
Yeah.
it.
Listen, citizens and non-citizens are protected under the First Amendment, just like they were protected under the 14th Amendment, like we were talking before. And so Donald Trump and Marco Rubio, they are violating the First Amendment by punishing people who have immigrated here legally for protesting in favor of Palestine. And then
he is
just
here on a
and then they're just
green
conflate
card
like
to go to school. That is not a legal citizen.
wait, so he's legally here. He legally immigrated here. Citizen or
It's not
non-citizen.
immigration.
Wait, hold
Being
on.
here for a green
I'm
card to
sorry.
go-
So citizen or non-citizen, he is protected in the First Amendment. Do we agree? You're muted.
not a citizen. He doesn't have a right to the First Amendment.
Okay. So you think that so your position is that non-citizens are not protected under the First Amendment.
No, the same way that if we went to the UK, we'd have to follow their laws. They have to follow our laws when they come here.
No. Oh my God. So you think just to be clear, they're not protected under any of the Constitution.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you can't. If you
Can
live
I
here
own-
on a
can
green
I
card-
can I
if you-
own can I own an immigrant as a slave? A non-citizen as a slave?
Of course not.
Why
Of
not?
course not. You can't own anybody as a slave. It's a dumb fucking question.
What? Wait. What says what? Says who?
I'm
The Constitution,
not
right?
sure. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it in the
Yeah,
Constitution?
it's in the Constitution, except for its punishment of a crime. So if it is the case that non-citizens are not protected by the Constitution, then I can own a non-citizen as a slave.
That's no, because you're
Tell me why I'm
still
wrong.
Wait, they're
violating.
logically trash.
What am I
You're
violating?
violating an American crime. You're
Wait.
violating an American.
What crime?
They don't have
Kidnapping?
protection. They don't have protection under the Constitution. By your view,
Okay, you're correct, but that doesn't mean you don't have to follow the laws. Just because
What
that
law?
person isn't a citizen, if
There's
you murder
no
that
fucking
person,
There is no
law.
law.
If
There
they're
is
not
no law,
protected
it's
by the
just the
first, if they're not
Constitution.
protected by
They
the
are
First
not.
Amendment, Second Amendment, Third Amendment, 15th Amendment, 14th Amendment, if they're not protected
a
by
fucking
those,
thing applies to them.
yeah, they don't apply. I can discriminate on them. I can take all the black immigrants and I can own them as slaves under your view. This is fucking insane. No, why does no Supreme Court decision or no legal scholar agree with you?
that's not what I'm saying.
It's
Okay.
crazy, bro.